Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Players Own YouTube channel and welcome back to our Premier League predictions for match day 35. We are coming very, very close now to the end of the 24-25 season and the fixtures, well, they have some meaning, especially for those competing for European positions, but we know our champions now being Liverpool and we know that the promoted three are now becoming the relegated three this season. But as I've hinted at, there's a lot to battle for from positions 3 down to 9 at the moment. A lot could change through different results. Form coming into these games matter as well, and a lot of teams playing for pride. So a lot to look forward to this weekend in the Premier League. Looking back though to last weekend and last set of games, we only had 8 to go and predict, and it was one of my stronger weekends. We added 11 of our prediction points there, taking our total now onto the season to 238. That means I only need 12 of our prediction points to get our total of 250, which he set out at the start of the season. If you're new to the channel right here at the end and you're wondering how the point system has worked, 3 points for the correct scoreline, 1 point for the correct result, 0 points for neither. So very good last weekend, 2 correct scorelines in there, which I was very, very happy about. And hopefully we can get a similar points tally here this weekend as we have 10 games to predict. With that being said, ladies and gents, let's now get straight into it. The Premier League predictions for match day 35. Friday night football is back once again. Manchester City play host to Wolverhampton in a game of two teams and some fantastic football. Man City coming off the back of a 2-1 late win versus Aston Villa last time out in the Premier League. They then backed that up with a convincing performance in the FA Cup to beat Nottingham Forest, meaning they come into this game winning 4 games in a row and scoring 11 goals in that time there as well. The turnaround has come due to, I guess, the veteran players standing up. Ilkay Gundogan, Bernardo Silva and Kevin De Bruyne are all playing key roles in some of their most recent games. And I look to those players yet again. They're all playing centrally. De Bruyne in the false 9, Bernardo Silva and Ilkay Gundogan in behind him. These players are their live wires right now. The experienced players are making things happen. It's precise movements. It's damaging movements with precision of passing and work without the football. The smart runs, the little pockets are opening up. They're playing some fantastic, real Pep Guardiola football, which you have not seen at all this season. Yes, the players like the Savinhos, the Dokus, the Marmoushas have been important, but in the last few games, it's been these, veterans of the side, these players that know how Pep Guardiola likes to play his football, that have stood up. So look to them yet again to try and break down a very resilient Wolves backline who come to this game in some fantastic form. They won 3-0 on the weekend versus Leicester City last time out. They're on a 6-game win streak, unbeaten in the last 7. And it's coincided with 3 clean sheets in their last 5 Premier League games. It's been that defensive solidity that has been their calling card. I've touched on it at great length this season. When they defend first and they keep clean sheets and they keep solid defensively, it's a real springboard for some of their attacking football. We know Strand Larsen and Cunha up top as a dynamic duo. Pace, power, precision, agility, physicality. It's got all of that up top. That can cause all sorts of problems, but they don't get fed the opportunities if it isn't for a solid backline and a solid midfield combination. So yet again, I'm looking at Agbadou, Doherty, Totti Gomez, keep it compact, limit spaces for De Bruyne and Bernardo Silva to operate into, and then it allows you to go forward in your own right. If you defend deep and you defend solid, counter-attacking movements, transitional movements is where you can get at Man City. It's been their Achilles heel for the last year and a half, and they're coming to this game with a little bit more confidence. They'll commit more numbers forward. There's a real chance with Matheus Cunha and Strand Larsen in the form they are up top to get at this side in transition. So it's a real battle of fire and ice in this game here. How well do Wolves defend, and how well can that attacking front line of Man City flourish? I think Man City, though, at home, being the more experienced side, get over the line here for me. By no means an easy task, but their quality will show through, and that Wolves dam will eventually break. I've gone with a Man City 2-0 win here. It takes them some time, but in the second half, I think they showed their quality, and they get this victory over an informed Wolves side. We're off to Villa Park for Aston Villa and Fulham. A massive game for Aston Villa if they want to try and chase down Champions League football yet again for next season. They had their momentum halted across the last 2 games. A 2-1 loss to Man City in the Premier League due to a late winner there, and then a really disappointing loss at Wembley versus Crystal Palace. It's reset button now for Unai Emery's side. You're out of the Champions League, you're out of the FA Cup. Full focus now on the Premier League for the last 4 games of the season. You know, they come to this game on the back of 2 consecutive losses, but prior to that, it was 11 wins from their previous 12 games, with the 1 loss coming to PSG at the Parc des Princes. So there is a lot of confidence and a lot of free-flowing football being played by this side at the current point in time. 11 goals in their last 5 games, despite those 2 back-to-back losses. So their attacking football has been their strong suit. Since the turnaround in form come 2025, it's all been about attacking football. Yes, Marcus Rashford is missing, but Ollie Watkins is showing he's done a fantastic job when he's been available for this Villa side. I think I look to these spark players in this side, which has been Morgan Rogers and Yuri Tillemans all season, playing in behind the centre forward. They've got goals in their game. They've got chance creation. They've got a dangerous threat about them at this current point in time, whether it be their passing play, whether it be their counter-pressing, or more often than not, their ability to get at teams in transition. They're passing direct to a centre forward and quick passing once the ball's been won back has been Aston Villa have got up the park very, very quickly and swiftly in recent times, and it's caused teams like Newcastle and PSG a lot of problems because of how direct and how swift their ball movement has been in the final third. So those two in particular are big key players here versus a very solid Fulham side. And then equally important too are the 2 fullbacks. Cash and Luca Digne have to be switched on. We know what Anthony Robertson and Alex Iwobi have done in that left-hand channel for Fulham. They have been their threat. We know when Fulham play with wit, they play their best football. So it's important these 2 fullbacks for Aston Villa defend solidly, prevent Fulham from being dangerous in those wide areas, and then be that springboard to go and attack and commit forward and create those overloads in the wide areas so that Aston Villa can is overwhelmed this Fulham back line. They come to this game after a late winner versus Southampton, that 2-1 win there, thanks to Ryan Sessegnon. They picked up 2 wins in their last 5 games and without a clean sheet in their last 6. So once again, classic Fulham, inconsistent, really can't get a read on them. They come into this game here, I wouldn't be surprised if they cause an upset, but it'll take a lot, and it'll be a lot from their defensive unit. Bassey and Anderson centrally at the heart of the defence. They've been a mixed bag for me. When they're at their best, Fulham look fantastic. When they're slightly off the pace and they're not that really solid defensive, robust unit, Fulham can see goals, they look vulnerable, they lose games of football. So I think for me, it all starts centrally at the back. Leno, Anderson and Bassey, if they're switched on, if they're in for a big 90 minutes here, Fulham can definitely compete, get at Villa in transition, allow them to come onto them and then springboard that counter-attack. But if they're weak and vulnerable, Aston Villa get on top of teams very early at Villa Park and it become a one-way affair. So it all relies on that Fulham back line here for me. With that being said, I think Aston Villa need to bounce back, and they will here. They've got goals in their game, and they'll show it here versus this Fulham side. I've gone with a 3-1 Aston Villa win. I think Fulham just don't have enough to stop this dangerous Aston Villa attacking outfit at this current point in time. We're off to Goodison Park for one of the final home Premier League games at Everton as they play host to Ipswich Town. Everton, a disappointing result last time at that 1-0 loss away at Chelsea. The performance is much improved, but still lacking that clinical edge in the final third. They've only scored 2 goals in their last 5 games, and they've only managed 2 wins from their past 12 games, which just shows the vulnerability and the weaknesses of this Everton side right now. They can't score enough goals to get over the line. Yes, they might have been on a great unbeaten run, but it shows they were only drawing games 1-1, and when that doesn't quite go your way after a long period of time, all of a sudden these points tallies and those results just don't look as good. And they need to bounce back here versus a very poor Ipswich side. For me, it's pretty simple. You need more clinical edge. You need more danger in the final third. And that comes through Abdoulaye Doucouré and Iliman Ndiaye in the final third. These 2 players are their spark players. They're X factors. Iliman Ndiaye, when he's at his best, running at defenders, using his pace, dropping the shoulder, cutting inside and getting opportunities on goal. And Doucouré with his headers and physicality in the final third. That creates a great mood and an atmosphere around Goodison Park where Everton are on top. They pin teams in and they can start playing their football. But more often than not in recent weeks, obviously Ndiaye came back from an injury. Doucouré not quite getting enough touches in and around the box for me. Everton look really poor. They've struggled in the final third. And more often than not, just attempts on goal have been limited. So they need those 2 involved. And from the start here for me, Ipswich, they were totally outplayed by Newcastle last time out. A 3-0 loss there. Sort of been a mirror of their season. They have struggled a lot. Haven't scored in their last 2 games, conceded 12 goals in their past 5 games and no clean sheet in 16. So it's a very dire reading there. Defensively, they've tried but haven't been good enough. And going forward, there just isn't enough spark in the final third there. Look, they're down. They know they're going down, but it's a chance for younger players to show what they can do in the final third. And I think versus an Everton side that is vulnerable, that hasn't played their best football in probably around a month, I'm looking to Jack Clark, I'm looking to Julio Enciso to try and create chances for Delap and cause problems for this Everton side and ruin the party of one of the last few games here at Goodison Park. They have the opportunity here to go and get at this Everton side. It's far from their best right now, but Ipswich have the ability to turn things around here and finish the season on some sort of a high here. I think they get a result. I've gone with a 1-1 draw here. Everton, not enough goals in their game. I think Ipswich, all it takes is one good movement and they get a goal, and that's where we end up with a 1-1 draw in this one here. Got the battle of two relegated sides. It's Leicester take on Southampton. What a game this one is going to be. Far from entertaining, I can imagine. Leicester were dismantled 3-0 by Wolves at the Molineux last time out. No win in 12 games for Leicester. No goal in the last two matches, and only 3 goals in their last 12 games. They have been deplorable, probably the worst team in the division. I know Southampton's points are statistically the worst side, but Leicester's fall off since probably November has just been awful. It has been really hard to watch. Look, there's not much to play for other than for Jamie Vardy. He's leaving the club. Create some chances for him. El Canusi in behind him, set some things up. Sumare, deep balls from deep lying areas. Get Jamie Vardy involved. Inject some life into the King Power, because it has been void of all sort of life this season. And the last time they scored a goal at the King Power, I can't even remember. I think we're looking at sort of September, October time. That's how long it's been since a goal at the King Power Stadium. So they desperately need a goal there. Southampton, they look better in recent weeks. They were very close to another point in that 2-1 loss at home versus Fulham. They picked up 2 points from their last 5 games. They've conceded only 10 goals in their past 5 games, so better defensively, a little bit more threat going forward. Look, I've said it the last few weeks, Fernandes, Sulemena, even Ugochukwu, the younger players, they're playing for contracts here. They're playing to try and make a name for themselves. I look to these type of players to get out a vulnerable Leicester City side, a side that really has struggled at home this season, to try and create some chaos, and I think they will. I think Southampton get over the line here for me. They're playing their better football come 2025, and they get a 2-1 win here for me away from home. We're at the Emirates for Arsenal and Bournemouth. The Gunners coming off a disappointing 2-2 draw, being held at home last time out by Crystal Palace. However, we know what happened midweek in the Champions League. Another disappointing 1-0 home loss to PSG. As such, all their focus is on Champions League football. No Premier League title to be chasing. So once again, heavy rotations can be expected from Mikel Arteta's side. 2 wins and 3 draws from the last 5 Premier League games sort of tells that story. They have heavily rotated. It's almost been a different Premier League side to the side that's taken on Champions League football. However, they've still scored 9 goals in their last 5 games in all competitions. So we know that attacking threat is there. And as such, I see, these attacking players, the Wanyeris, the Trossards, being of heavy importance here in this game here. It's really important they try and get at this Bournemouth back line, because if Bournemouth are very comfortable, if Arsenal aren't a threat to them, they can start playing out from the back, playing through the lines, and that's when Iriola's side look at their best. Another big game required as well with Zinchenko and Jorginho likely going into midfield. They need to be combative. They need to match the Bournemouth intensity in there, because as I said, once Bournemouth start to play through midfield areas, start to play through the lines, get on the ball, allow it to turn into attacking positions, that's when Bournemouth play their best football. We saw them do it versus Arsenal early this season. Once they started to get on the ball and drive into spaces, keep possession, Arsenal could not stop this side. It's important you make Bournemouth uncomfortable as possible, and that's down to Zinchenko and Jorginho in midfield. You look at Bournemouth, a 1-1 draw at home versus Manchester United last time out. Obviously that late equaliser from Rasmus Højlund. They've only picked up 1 win in their last 5 Premier League games, but in recent times, much better performances, still lacking that end product in the final third to put teams away when they're dominating. I feel like we need to see improvements in midfield areas, however, to allow that attacking football to go and flourish. I'm looking to Cook and I'm looking to Adams, who are likely to be the midfield combination. Bournemouth at their best win midfield battles. They dominate the centre of the park. They travel well. And I think these two in this game here need to be 1, combative, 2, composed, and 3, the ability to instigate the attacking football here. That means win the football high up the pitch. That means press Arsenal high up the pitch and keep Bournemouth on the front foot and penned into the Arsenal half, because I tell you what, with Arsenal rotating so many numbers and so many players, they're playing with freedom, they're not playing with the pressure. Bournemouth, they want some results and they get back up to that top half there. So they've got a lot to play for rather than Arsenal, who are just playing freely. And as such, it can lead to a very disappointing, cagey type performance of Bournemouth when Arsenal can get on top. So it's important you go for minute 1, you put pressure on this Arsenal side, and you put pressure on some of these players that don't play week in, week out to try and get a result. I do think Bournemouth do get a result here. They desperately need to get back on track. I think they show that in this game here. As I said, I think it's led from that midfield there, pressing hard up the pitch, bringing that intensity and putting off this Arsenal side. It's going to be heavily rotated. I've gone with a Bournemouth 2-1 win here at the Emirates to make a big statement and to keep their hopes of a top half finish alive in season 2025. We're off to the G-Tech for Brentford and Manchester United. Brentford coming off a fabulous 2-0 win away at the City Ground last time out in the Premier League. Once again, their attacking football and their counter-attacking football on show here. And I think they'll have to show it yet again here versus another Manchester United side that's going to be heavily rotated, similar to that of an Arsenal side. Brentford are unbeaten in their last 4 Premier League games. They've scored 8 in their last 5, so the attacking football and the confidence once again is instilled in the Bees towards the end of the season here. United are heavily fatigued. They're going to be heavily rotated. So in Burmo, Vissa, Sharda, their speed, their direct running, their intensity, it's going to be the game change in this game here for me. And with how well they've finished in front of goal this season, I think they cause havoc for United backline. It's going to be heavily rotated. Big games as well. They're pressing from Norgard and Yarmaluk in the centre of the park. So important. We saw what Athletic Club did to Manchester United in the opening 20 minutes. Penned them in from pressing high up the pitch. Ruben Amorim will expect the United side, despite all the rotations, to still play out from the back, still be comfortable in possession, and that can cause some problems. If Brentford can press well, can offset Manchester United playing out from the back, well, there's chances aplenty to be had there. So look to Brentford to bring that intensity, to bring that pressure, use their speed, use their, greater fitness to try and get on top of this Manchester United side, who left it late to pick up a 1-1 draw away to Bournemouth last time at the Premier League. Got a fantastic 3-0 win Thursday night in the Europa League. They come to this game scoring 10 goals in their last 5 games, but no win in the last 5 Premier League games for Manchester United. 2 draws and 3 losses. So it's been total contrasting fortunes from Europe into the Premier League. And, another chance for youngsters yet again. Kobbie Mainoo probably gets a start here. Maybe Amad Diallo gets a chance to get some fitness. But you think the likes of Harry Amas, Chido Obi-Martin as well, and others from the academy to get an opportunity here versus Brentford. A real chance for them to show what they've got, to ability to play on the ball, play through a press, and get at a Brentford side that look to play attacking football, look to play exciting football, and a chance for you to show what you're all about in a United kit. I think it's going to be a real open game. Goals are plenty, but all the goals going to the Bees for me here. I think they run riot versus a very inexperienced, rotated Manchester United side. A 3-0 win for the Bees at home. Once again, another forgettable day at the G-Tech for Manchester United. We're off to the Amex for Brighton and Newcastle United. Brighton coming into this game off the back of a much-needed 3-2 come-from-behind victory versus West Ham, which ended a 6-game winless run for the club. However, they've conceded 13 goals in their past 5 games, which shows really the root of all the problems right now for Brighton Hove Albion. It's been their lack of defensive identity and the way teams have gotten on top of this side so far in the back end of this Premier League season. As such, I'm looking to Ayari and Baliba. When they're involved in the games, when they're structuring this side up, Brighton look like a much better unit. Obviously, Baliba is likely to once again fill in at centre half. Ayari is that cog in midfield. When these two are heavily involved, whether it be with the ball or without the ball, it holds Brighton together. It keeps their structure. It gives them identity. It gives them a real spark and energy, which they desperately need, because in that winless run, they just weren't good enough, those two. They weren't as well involved. They were on the bench at times. And once you saw it last weekend versus West Ham, much more involved, driving the team forward, keeping them solid defensively, and they get the result. So massive gains required from those two in the spine of the Brighton side. For Newcastle, their great run continues. They eased past Ipswich last time out, 3-0 at home, 16 goals scored in their past 5 games. They've won 6 out of 7 Premier League games. All things are pointing upwards for Newcastle United as they look to try and confirm Champions League football for next season. For me, once again, you're looking at that front 3. Isaac in fantastic form, but most importantly, Barnes and Murphy, either side of him, have been fabulous come the last few months. Putting balls in the back of the net, putting balls into the area, chasing, pressing, bringing intensity, bringing energy. Newcastle are at their best when looking to get up and down the pitch, play with speed, play with intensity, play with physicality, and that's what they've done in recent times, supported by their fullbacks Trippier and Livramento. It's been fantastic from the wide spaces, but in particular, that front 3 is on song like they have been in recent weeks. I don't think Brighton can hold this Newcastle side down and keep them at arm's length. I think they just overwhelm this Brighton side, and as such, I see it being a one-way game, that being a Newcastle dominant victory. 3-0 here for me away from home. They make a stand early, and they control the game for the rest of it. We have an all-London battle as Spurs travel to West Ham. West Ham, as we've mentioned last time out, threw away that lead later on to Brighton to lose 3-2 away from home. They're without a win in their last 7 games and no clean sheet in that time either. The problem was goals. It also is defensively as well. There's really no strength in this West Ham side, and it's gone under the radar as one of the most underwhelming seasons this year because of how poor Tottenham and Manchester United have been. But look, if they're going to be any better and they're going to be competitive in this game here versus Spurs, you need to get Kudus, you need to get Bowen involved. You saw it versus Brighton. They were the two key players. They made things happen for West Ham in the final third. They were scoring more goals because they got more touch of the football. So look to them to be central. Look to them to be the key functional players in the final third for this West Ham side. And the massive game also required from Thomas Souček in midfield, in one of the only players that can really control a midfield battle or win a midfield battle. He has a massive opportunity here to swing this game in the favour of West Ham. You know, Spurs will rotate. They'll have a different midfield combination. Souček is someone that's been there and done it a few times now for West Ham. He knows how to win midfield battles. He can swing the momentum in the favour of West Ham here at home. So massive game required for him to try and win that battle and get West Ham in control of the momentum and the flow of this game here. Looking at Spurs, they were battered 5-1 last time out by Liverpool. Really humbled in that game there. But they responded with a 3-1 win midweek in the Europa League versus Bodo Glimt. Can they carry that form over? I really doubt it because they're coming in this game off the back of 3 consecutive Premier League losses, conceding 12 goals in their last 5 games. So look, they haven't been good defensively, neither have they been that great going forward. I'm thinking this game here, it's going to be a battle of a midfield. Can Basuma and Sarr, who are likely to come in due to rotation, battle or win the battle against Thomas Souček and James Ward-Prowse? Because I feel like whoever wins that midfield battle gets their team in control of the game, and it's really a battle between 2 dysfunctional units. Whoever wants to take control of it will dominate the game and probably win it, but I can't see any team really doing that, and that's why I'm going with a 1-1 draw. We've got a battle of 2 teams here who don't know how to win a game of football. As such, it just has to be a draw here for me. So 1-1 here at the London Stadium between West Ham and Tottenham Hotspur. We're off to the bridge for Chelsea and Liverpool in what is always a really entertaining, high-scoring affair. Chelsea coming into this game off the back of that 1-0 win at home versus Everton last time out and a 4-1 win on the road midweek in the Conference League. They come into this game with confidence and they want to carry that confidence over here because they're still in the midst of that massive battle for Champions League football. They're unbeaten in the last 5 Premier League games, which is a good sign for the football club. 3 wins and 2 draws in that time there, only conceding 3 goals in those past 5 Premier League games. So defence has been the calling card, and boy, it's going to have to be yet again here versus a very, very dangerous attacking Liverpool side. You know, I look to those wide fullbacks to shut down the dangerous Liverpool wire players. So Caicedo and Cucurella, who are likely to line up as fullbacks, need to keep Salah and Cody Gakpo and Luis Diaz very, very quiet, because when Liverpool start playing with width and playing with speed in wide spaces, that's when they start getting a roll on, and we saw what they did to Tottenham Hotspur last week because of how they dominated those wide spaces. A massive job for those 2 fullbacks, and then a massive job for Lavia and Fernandes in midfield, in particular Enzo Fernandez, who's been a fantastic contributor this season for Chelsea. 15 goals and assists so far this season, has driven Chelsea forward, has gotten important assists and important goals at important times of the football club, and this is one of the most important games of their season. They desperately need to be in those Champions League positions. They want to keep growing this team and growing the football club and really get back where they deserve with this massive wage bill and with the talent this side has. He has been the leader of this side. He has driven them forward. He has dominated midfields so far this season in the Premier League, and he needs more help. And that's where Lavia comes in. Has to be that assistance, has to be that body in there that puts his body on the line, wins the ball back, be physical, and offsets that Liverpool midfield duo who's been so dominant so far this season in the Premier League. Liverpool, fantastic last time out, a 5-1 demolition job of Spurs as they secured the title. It's 11 goals in their last 5 games. They've refound their shooting boots, it seems. And for me, once again, Cody Gakpo, Mohamed Salah, get them on the ball as much as possible. Play with width. They're playing with freedom, and they've got the title. Nothing really to play for, but for a bit of fun. And boy, if Liverpool playing with some fun and with that belief, it's going to be a real dangerous side to face up against. I think Salah and Gakpo will start, and they will cause all sorts of problems for this Chelsea side here with their pace, with their direct running, and with their intensity in the final third. I think it's going to be way too much for Chelsea to handle at key points in time. Also, look at Dominic Szoboszlai. He's been momentous in recent weeks, being in that number 10, counter-pressing, putting backlines under pressure. We know that Chelsea struggle to play out from the back, so Bosley is the proper player that can get at this Chelsea side and cause them all sorts of problems just with his pressing game. So look to his energy to be of key importance here to Liverpool in this one for me. I think they get over the line. It's going to be high scoring. Liverpool with really nothing to play for but a bit of fun. And I think that's when they can be at their most dangerous. Chelsea coming off the back of a European trip, a little bit leggy. I've gone with a Chelsea loss in this one here. Liverpool 3-2 winners for me. I think it's going to be high scoring, high intensity, back and forth. A real exciting game for the weekend. But the champions, well, they'll come up on top here for me in this game. Our final game for the weekend sees Palace play host to Nottingham Forest in what is going to be the most entertaining game, I think, from the weekend's action. Palace, well, they were not too bad last time at that 2-2 draw away at the Emirates versus Arsenal in the Premier League, making their attacks count in that game there versus Arsenal. But it was topped by a fantastic semi-final FA Cup victory versus Aston Villa at Wembley on the weekend. So they come into this game with a lot of confidence and with a lot of belief currently in this side here. However, they're without a win in the last 4 Premier League attempts as they look to keep battling these top sides competing for European football. For me, there's going to be different areas of the park that's important for Palace, but most importantly is the spine of the side. Guéhi, Lacroix and Richards defensively have been so important in 2025 and for the turnaround of this Palace side, keeping clean sheets and keeping solid defensively has been the main calling card for Crystal Palace. If these three are switched on, if they're keeping Nottingham Forest at arm's distance and preventing the counter-attack, well, that goes a long way for them getting a positive result in this game here. And then Adam Wharton and Will Hughes sitting in front of that back three, being those deep line playmakers, instigating the counter-attack for themselves, being physical in midfield and offsetting what Nottingham Forest want to do on the ball. So important. So those 5 in the core of the Palace side so dictate the way Palace go about their football in this game here and how likely they are to get all 3 points here for me. For Forest, they dropped more points last time out. That 2-0 home loss to Brentford is a real dagger in the heart for their chances of Champions League football. They can start to really slip away from that top 5 there, and they're losing momentum and they're losing confidence at this current point in time. It's only been 3 goals in their past 5 games and only 1 win from their past 4 Premier League games. They need to refine that attacking identity, that attacking spark. Ante Alanga, Hudson-Odoi, Gibbs-White. They have to work out a way they can still get on the ball and look dangerous against a low block, because Palace will employ that. Every team has employed that now because they know, Nottingham Forest are searching the counter-attack. They want the high lines, but teams just won't do that. They won't give that to them anymore because of how well they've played this season. And so far we've seen in the back end of the season here, once teams have employed that low block, Forest just can't break through. So if it's going to be anything, maybe it's counter-pressing, causing a mistake from the Palace back line, or showing a bit of initiative to try and play through the lines or dribble their way through this back line here. It's going to have to be something different from these players in the final third if Forest want to get the result. It's going to be tough, but I think they'll just grind out the result in this game here. I think I see Nottingham Forest just getting the line. I'm talking about a moment of magic for someone in the final third there as they get a 2-1 victory here over Crystal Palace here for me to keep their hopes of Champions League football alive for next season. That being said, ladies and gents, that brings my prediction video for match day 35 to an end for the Premier League. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Who are some of your key players? What is your pick for game of the weekend? I'd love to hear that and love to have you interacting in the comment section down below. If you enjoyed the video, guys, smash a like on it. Subscribe to the Players and channel for more videos, predictions, reaction content here in the channel, and press that post notification bell so you know we upload everything here on the Players and channel. With that being said, guys, I hope you enjoy the weekend's football action. I'll see you guys for another video very, very soon. Until next time, guys. See you later.